Sometimes love stories seem simple, until you step inside and realize they hold an entire ocean of emotions, sweet deep, and full of unexpected waves. Huyen and Day have walked hand in hand through quiet, peaceful days, planting dreams of a little home where Maya, their sweet, lively daughter, would grow up surrounded by unconditional love. But life isn't always as calm as a serene afternoon in the countryside. Behind their smiles are quiet sacrifices. Behind their tears burns a fierce longing to love and be loved, to be cherished, to stay by each other's side no matter what storms may come. And then without warning, a single moment changes everything. Will their love be strong enough to survive the test? Will the happiness they've been waiting for finally find its way to their door? Join me on this deeply moving journey. And don't look away, because the answer lies in the very last moments of the story. The narrow dirt path stretched out before us, still the same trail from years ago. Yet somehow, it felt smaller now, winding gently between two rows of old bamboo, whispering in the breeze. Each step felt heavy, yet my heart beat with a strange mix of anticipation, fear, and longing. Dee's warm, steady hand clasped mine as if silently saying, "No matter what happens, I'm right here." Beside us, little Maya chirped like a songbird, her wide eyes filled with wonder. Before we could call her back, she was already darting down the small alley that led to the old house. We used to walk this very path every afternoon. Now wild bushes and knee-high grass had claimed it, bending aside as Maya ran through revealing patches of sun-baked red earth. Dee and I slowed our pace. Each time I brushed aside a blade of grass, memories rose up. Rainy seasons, thick with mud, sunlit afternoons, stretching across our shoulders, his laughter echoing from the past. They came rushing back, so close, yet so far, and then the house appeared. I froze. The place, it's so overgrown, I murmured, my voice catching. The palm leaf roof that once sheltered us through countless storms was now half gone, leaving bare gray bamboo beams exposed to the sky. The sagging porch dipped in places as if straining to survive just one more rainy season. Without a word, Dee stepped forward and pushed open the old wooden door. Creak. The sound made me shiver. It was like unlocking a world that had been asleep for decades. A damp, earthy smell of rotting bamboo and wet soil drifted out, making me wrinkle my nose. Weak sunlight filtered through cracks in the walls, breaking into thin golden streams that floated in the dust-filled air. The bamboo walls were warped, some splintered, some torn wide open to the sky beyond. The wooden shelves were nothing but bent, weathered planks. In the corner, our old bamboo table still stood now, buried under a thick coat of gray dust, brittle leaves scattered on its surface. "This is going to be a lot of work," Day said quietly, though there was an unshakable determination in his eyes. I glanced at him, swallowing the worries rising in my chest. "We're going to need a lot of money to fix that roof," I said softly, half testing to see if he was ready. He just smiled, that gentle, warm smile that said the roof could fall, the walls could crumble, but as long as we had each other, we could rebuild it all. And in that moment, I realized, no matter how old or broken this place became, it still held all the love we'd ever shared. And as long as we kept that this house would always be home, After walking around the house, I realized time had abandoned this place for far too long. Wild grass had grown tall up to my head, crowding together as if trying to swallow the entire yard. Every step forward was blocked by thorny branches and tangled vines, twisting together like they were guarding the place from outsiders. Back inside, I set my worn backpack down on the sagging bamboo bed and took a deep breath. Without hesitation, Dee and I got straight to work. The sun was climbing higher, its golden light pouring over us, but the air was heavy, the faint breeze doing little to chase away the stifling heat. In my hands was a sickle, its blade a little worn, yet still glinting with steel. Each swing sent thick grass toppling to the ground, revealing the damp brown earth beneath. Swish, swish. The sound blended with the rustle of dry leaves and the whisper of the wind. Sweat traced a steady path down my spine, soaking through my thin shirt. Across the yard, Dee worked with a heavy machete, chopping down stubborn tree stumps that had rooted themselves like pillars. Each strike landed with a solid thunk, sending splinters flying onto his arms. His shirt clung to his strong back, drenched with sweat. I knew he was exhausted, but his eyes still burned with determination. Even as my arms began to ache and my hands grew sore, I didn't complain, not once. All I could think was, we have to clear it all. We have to bring this place back to life. When I saw Dee pause to wipe the sweat from his brow, I walked over and murmured, "Take a break. We can go slow. There's no rush." He turned to me with that easy, sunlit smile, beads of sweat catching the light. "I'm fine. Just a little more and we'll have it all cleared." His words were simple, but they filled my chest with warmth. In that moment, I knew no matter how much overgrowth we faced, no matter how thick the dust, if we faced it together, we could make this place clean, alive, and full of love again. We finally paused, our arms aching and heavy. I stood there, catching my breath, letting sweat roll down my cheek, and took in the view around us. The garden, once swallowed by wild overgrowth, now revealed patches of clean, rich brown earth. The old flower beds, nothing more than brittle stems, now still lay in neat rows, as if waiting for someone's gentle hands to bring them back to life. Dee held a worn broom, patiently sweeping dry leaves into small piles. Every time he bent down, a bead of sweat slid from his temple, tracing its way to the corner of his eye. I knew he was exhausted, but his movements stayed steady, without a hint of hesitation. Watching the strong line of his back, my chest tightened with a warm, bittersweet feeling. Thank you for showing up for me and my daughter when I thought I couldn't go on any longer. Then the sky began to darken. From the distance, thick black clouds rolled in, and the wind picked up in sudden, forceful gusts. The small house before me trembled with each blast, making my heart clench. The old bamboo walls knocked against each other with a restless clatter, as if they too feared the storm's arrival. I stepped into the kitchen and lit the fire. A pot of sweet potatoes had finished cooking their warm, sugary scent, filling the small space and drifting out into the yard. Mixed with the earthy smell of fresh-cut grass and damp soil, it wrapped the air in something unexpectedly comforting. "Dee, the sweet potatoes are ready," I called out. "Come rest for a while." He set the broom aside and joined me, his voice gentle yet tinged with quiet thought. "This house, it's not livable yet. I'll do a little more cleaning, then we can head back to my place and cook dinner. I glanced around, letting out a small sigh. It's in worse shape than I thought. He stayed silent for a moment, weighing something in his mind. Then he turned to me, taking my hand in his. His eyes were warm, but unwavering. Then let's build a new one together. Over there on the other side of the yard. I didn't answer right away. Instead, I squeezed his hand tightly. Outside, the wind was beginning to howl, but inside me, something else was stirring. Something warmer, stronger, more enduring than any storm. We tried to clear just a little more of the yard, but the sky wouldn't wait for us. Dark clouds gathered fast on the horizon, and before we knew it, the rain came sudden and heavy. The drops were big as pearls, falling hard onto the thatched roof and splashing across the damp yard, rich with the scent of freshly cut grass. Together, they made a lively, rhythmic music, as if the rain itself was welcoming me and Maya back home. We hurried onto the porch. Dee tilted his face toward the roof, watching raindrops slide down his cheek, mingling with his sweat. His voice was quiet, tinged with both sadness and thought. These palm leaves, they're all rotting now. I looked at him in silence. The rain poured down just beyond the porch, white and unrelenting, while the wind pushed in with a cool bite. And yet, my heart felt warm. No matter how fierce the storms might be, I knew I wouldn't have to face them alone anymore. This little house, its walls leaning, its roof leaking, still felt safe, still felt like shelter. Because Dee was here. I tightened the towel in my hands and glanced at Maya chattering excitedly to him about her day at school. In that moment, I found myself hoping Dee would always be this man kind, steady, the strong shoulder I could lean on, and the warm arms that would hold Maya so she would never feel the ache of missing love. Outside, the rain kept falling, each drop tapping against the roof like a quiet promise from life itself, one meant for the three of us.